Welcome to Beyond the Closing Table with Setco Services. In this podcast, we delve into the world of real estate and explore what happens beyond the closing table. Join us for insightful discussions and expert interviews that will change the way you see real estate transactions. Welcome to Beyond the Closing Table. I'm George Brennan Jr., sponsored by Setco Services. So today I have my friend Brian Kish. Welcome, Brian.
Thank you, George.
Brian is the president. What is your official title?
President
yes, of the Emeril Lagasse Foundation.
That's correct.
An organization I'm also very proud to be on the board. And we got a big event coming up this weekend, the Weekend Throwdown, barbecue contest / raising money for kids.
Yeah.
And we throw a golf tournament in there too.
Yeah, and a lot of wine. Nine different vintners coming in to pour wines. So.
I like it. All right.
Yeah.
Who do we have?
Well, good question now, right? I got to recall. Let's see. We have a couple of new ones we've never tried before, but they've reached out to us. We've seen them pour at other events. Brian. I know. So we'll see. A Numero, which I think you probably have seen. I think they've been at Destin Charity Wine Auction. I haven't had their stuff. I met them once. They were really nice people. Hurtlendy, which I've never had before.
I've had that. It's good.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Like fingers
Lundy,
crossed.
It's Lundy, right?
This is called a Hurtlendy.
Oh, no. I'm sorry.
This is Hertlendy.
Okay.
Never had, but he's reached out. He's given a lot to our other auctions and has never poured. And he asked, can I pour? We said, let's give it a try. So we'll find out. Another one called Benevolent Neglect. They do some little funky different stuff.
Okay.
Let's see. They're out of Napa. We have Patson Hall, which is legendary.
Yep.
And they just rebought their brand back after they sold it. So they'll come back. Old friend of Emeril's. He's been a good donor to us too.
Okay.
So a lot of this is people that are, good supporters. Of course, Thompson 3150.
Yep.
Mike from
shout out to Mike and Val Thompson.
Yep. Who actually created the event.
Mm-hmm.
The founders. This is their 20th anniversary. So they'll be there. We have Gray Stack, which is a smaller brand out of Sonoma. We've had them before. River Rain, who pours a lot here. They do a lot. I think they're even doing a wine dinner tonight with Cuvée 30A.
Okay.
They pour every single year. They've been here since the beginning.
Yeah.
So those are kind of it. And then Three Sticks couldn't come, but they're sending wine. Dan Costa couldn't come, but he's sending wine. So
love it.
I think we have about 9 wineries, but about 11 different wines to try.
Thanks to all the vintners for their support. So who doesn't like some good big red wines and some barbecue ribs?
Yep.
Right?
And we'll have the whites too. You're along the beach.
I don't drink that crap.
I know you don't. I know you don't. I know you don't. And you're going to show. I know you're going to show with your own wine anyway.
Yes,
but
course.
That's okay.
That's standard practice.
That's right. I know. That's
got to make sure in case you run out.
It's a brand. We never run out. So
I know you do.
Here's our
I know
secret,
you don't.
George.
Excuse me.
When we have our events, we usually plan 2 bottles per person.
Okay.
Is what we plan for our events.
That sounds like a Brandon festivity.
Yeah. Just in case, because the Brandons might drink 3 or 4 bottles each. Somebody might just have 2 glasses. So we balance it out.
My wife sometimes shames me about that, but I enjoy some good grape juice.
That's all right. Nothing wrong with that. And you can walk there where we have our event. You can walk home.
And I can crawl home.
That's right.
So I want to learn a little bit about Brian first. So where'd you grow up?
Cleveland, Ohio. Well, outside of Cleveland.
Okay.
West side of Cleveland. I'm a sad, poor Cleveland Browns sports fan. Browns, Guardians.
They just can't get their shit together, can they?
The worst of the worst. I mean, I've become a Saints fan. I've lived in New Orleans for 11 and a half years, but the worst. I mean, when I was a little kid, they were good. And that's, I bleed orange and brown, sadly.
Well,
So
you stay true to your brand. I know
that's
you,
right. I'm a loyal guy.
Now you're in New Orleans, but
that's right.
So how was it growing up outside of Cleveland?
So I grew up, we lived in a nice suburb, really nice little suburb, but I never knew this. I was the poorest kid in my neighborhood, but I never knew it. My parents,
that's cool.
My dad worked 2 jobs.
It's not cool being the poorest, but the fact you never knew it.
I never knew
like your parents and raised you in a way where you didn't see any different. That's cool.
Like maybe the others are getting their jeans and their clothes from Macy's. We're going to Kmart.
Yeah.
But we didn't know. It was always clean. We were always.
What's wrong with Kmart?
Well, hey, no knock on Kmart.
That's where I went.
Although there's not a lot of them around anymore.
There's none around, but I just want you to know that's where I got my jeans too.
All right.
I had to shop in the Husky aisle.
You were a Husky kid?
Yeah. I was a little fat kid.
Yeah. No, really?
Yeah.
I got to see pictures of you when you're little.
My mom would tell you I was a little dumpling.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I was a little pistol, but I was a dumpling.
We gotta have
all
see
good
those photos.
Yeah. All right. I'll give you one. No problem.
So I lived in a nice neighborhood, great little suburb, one of those places where, your parents tell you go out and play, and when it's dark, come home.
Yeah. Safe.
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, we were blessed. And again, my parents stretched themselves so we can live in that neighborhood. We didn't have anything else. We didn't go on vacations. We had nothing, but we had a great home in a great neighborhood, and we were loved, and that's it, and it didn't even hit me how poor we were until later in life. And I was telling someone, we used to beg my dad to go to the dump to find toys. We used to drive around when we were called it garbage picking, and we'd go through people's garbage they threw away. No, not food. We weren't, that we had food on the table, but toys, couch, furniture, that's how we lived.
Yeah.
But we didn't think there was anything different about it.
What'd your folks do?
So my grandparents are from Hungary. So, and I mentioned Hertlendi earlier, the winery. He's from Hungary.
Okay, cool.
So, which is kind of cool. So we'll see. And they have good wines in Hungary, believe it or not.
Really? I haven't heard of Hungarian wines.
I'll have to come back to it. But Royal Tokaj is like a Sauterne, but it's different. And if you get the best Royal Tokaj, it will compete against almost any Sauterne.
Really?
But they have red and whites and all that. But where was I going with that?
Hungary?
Oh, Hungary. Yeah.
What your folks did?
So my grandpa and grandma came over. My dad grew up. My grandpa worked in the steel mill, that kind of life. My dad was just tough, blue collar, was working in a machine shop, and then put his way through just 2-year program, got a associates in engineering, then worked his way up from blue collar job to white collar job. But we had 4 kids I'm a twin, so my parents had 4 kids.
You're a twin? There's another one of you running around?
Yeah, my twin sister. I have a twin sister.
Identical or?
Well, sister can't be identical. Although we do look alike, sadly. Unfortunate for her.
Yeah.
She lives in England. She's an artist, actually.
Okay.
Super cool. Super cool. And so there was 4 of us in 4.5 years. And so my dad would go work a second job. He'd wear the white collar shirt, and then at night he'd go back. And then my mom was a part-time nurse. And when they were working, my grandparents would come over and stay at the house. So we worked. We all started working when we were 14.
Very family oriented.
Yep. I started working in a restaurant. My whole family did. A nice restaurant. Started as a dishwasher, then a pot washer, then a prep cook, then a busboy, then a waiter. So this kind of world I'm in now, different fundraising, but associated with the restaurant world. I'd been in from 14 to 21 when I left.
Okay.
Same with my brother and my sister.
What kind of restaurant?
It was white tablecloth, kind of old school, your steaks, your twice baked potato duck, that kind of stuff.
Americana.
Classics. Yeah, but old school.
But your family owned it?
No.
Okay, you just worked there.
Yeah, we just all worked there. My whole family, not my parents, but my brothers, sisters.
All the kids worked there at the same restaurant.
Yeah, and we grew up there, and it was, did you ever read Kitchen Confidential by Anthony Bourdain?
No.
You should check it out. That's what made Anthony Bourdain famous. That book.
Now maybe there's going to be a chef that's going to listen to this and shout at me next.
Yeah. I know that chef. He's like, what? But it talks about what the restaurant world was like. This was before a lot of things that have changed in the last 10, 15 years in restaurants.
Okay.
This is the old, yelling and screaming and throwing pans and cursing and swearing and heavy drug use and all that. But when I read that book, is good or bad as it is, that was a bit of my childhood.
You grew up?
Oh, yeah. I mean, so I was the dishwasher. Here's this 14-year-old, and the chef's throwing a pot at me. This thing's dirty. God, swearing left and right, throwing stuff at me. I mean, abuse, literally. Yeah. But at the end of the night, you're 14, 15. He's like, here, kid, and cracks a cold beer for you.
Yeah.
Or he would take us. He's the one that got me into concerts and started taking me to concerts and shows. My first Grateful Dead show, one of the chefs took me to. So these chefs were like my idols too.
Yeah.
And that's why I dig so much what I do now as well, is because I grew up looking up to these chefs, and they were tough. But
did you ever do time in the kitchen?
Yeah. Yeah. So I did prep cook stuff.
Okay.
Too. So I never worked the line, but my sister and I would work like the appetizers, salads, a couple of the simpler desserts. So
Love it.
We did that as well.
Okay.
I did front of the house, back of the house, all that. So I know kind of what goes on there.
Yeah.
But it was it was an interesting way of growing up. But
I'm sure.
I loved it. We loved it. It was like our fraternity too. And, we do everything there. So
you're like a community restaurant? Or do people come?
Yeah, it was a lot of locals.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a lot of locals. Some older folks. But it was, we had to wear the bow tie and the white shirt. And it was that kind of place.
Dressed up?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I would call that old school today.
Yeah. You don't see that anymore.
Yeah.
And people would get dressed up for it. You'd wear a jacket and coat.
So did you just work through high school?
Yeah. So we had to pay our way through everything.
Okay.
We worked through high school, and then my big thing was wrestling. I was about to say,
did you play any sports?
Yeah. So I played everything. I did a little bit of football and track and baseball, and I was pretty good at all of them, but wrestling was my thing. And so I found wrestling in 7th grade, and that became my obsession in life. I wish I would have dedicated more time to it. But I did
good.
So I went to states. I finished in the top 10 in the state of Ohio, which is considered one of the best wrestling states in the country.
It's big in that area.
Yeah. So I had some offers to smaller schools to wrestle. But I had put my body through so much abuse.
Was that in the kitchen or in the wrestling?
Wrestling. Both. Shit. But we were cutting. I was cutting.
Didn't know what you were getting into in that kitchen.
Well, a little bit of that too. I mean, to be honest. Yeah, a little bit of both. But I used to cut 10 pounds a week. Every week, up and down, up and down. It was terrible.
Yeah. I mean, especially the way they used to do it.
Oh, yeah. We would
kind of better now. But...
Oh, yeah. We'd go sit in the sauna in garbage bags.
Yeah.
And sweat it out. You wouldn't eat for 2 days and you wouldn't drink water for a day. I mean, it's terrible.
So bad for your body.
Oh, it's horrible. And me and my buddies still today, we all have issues with trying to keep weight off. Or one of my buddies developed really bad kidney problems. And
you mean you don't go sit in the sauna with a garbage bag on anymore?
No, I will go in the sauna, but not with a garbage bag anymore. I go in
this morning, no garbage bag.
A regular human.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, wrestlers, tough as nails. I mean, the toughest, most disciplined people, what they go through and what they do. I mean, you want a worker? Hey, folks, so you're out there hiring and you see someone said they wrestled, give them a shot, listen to them because they're a worker. I promise you that.
I like that take.
Yeah.
It get you back into the jiu-jitsu.
Well, I know you and I have talked about it.
Yeah.
So when I stopped wrestling, it took, a bunch of time off. And then my first job, I always worked at universities before this job. And I was at Iowa State, which is a big wrestling school, and I worked there doing fundraising. And we were allowed
go back real quick. Where did you go from high school?
Yeah, so high school, graduated, all of that, and
were you a good student?
Yeah, honors, all of that. Love speaking. I was in speaking, no surprise, right?
Yeah,
I love a microphone.
Were you on the debate team?
We didn't have a debate team, but I won our speech contest for the city.
Okay,
and got some little small
through your high school.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. Through Rotary, I think was the sponsor of it.
Got it. All right.
So was into that. Was in sports, captain the wrestling team on football. Did all this traditional. My girlfriend was like the prom queen.
Oh, wait, nice. Now we're getting into the nitty gritty.
Yeah, hopefully my wife's not listening, but she was a darling.
Prom queen. Okay,
great girl too. Still.
Kish?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I was rolling up. I was rolling with the big dogs. Our high school was like the 90210. It really was. And not that it was, again, a rich area, but this beautiful suburb. Great. Look, we got in our trouble. We did our stuff, but we're blessed. We're blessed the way we grew up. But I learned how to work.
That's awesome.
And a lot of my friends didn't. We had to work our way through high school. A lot of people don't work in high school now.
Yeah.
Right? Did you work in high school?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah. Mainly in the summer.
Yeah.
My parents had a rule. You played a sport in the fall, sport in the spring, or you worked.
Yeah, fair.
So, and then I always worked in the summer.
Fair. But how many kids you think today? I mean, they're in sports, but how many of them are working? I mean,
not many.
They're not.
Yeah.
And so think about it. You go to college. A lot of them don't work in college. So then they come out. They've never had a job.
Yeah.
And so that's now the workforce we're dealing with. So we work.
And it seems you're entitled to be up here immediately.
100%. Oh, I got straight A's. I got honors, And think about what our education system does. It tells you work hard, get good grades, which is great. I'm not slamming that. But they tell you to do that. And if you do that, you're going to get a great job. Somewhat true, but doesn't mean you get to keep that job. And doesn't mean you're going to excel in that job. You got to learn how to work.
Or you know how to work hard.
That's right.
Put in the time.
Right. And I think that's the biggest thing missing. And so we worked, and I'm making my kids work, even though they're little, but they work. For you. My son the other day, sorry, I get back to my, but I was so proud of him. He is, he's 12. I'm like, I got to think how old he is. Terrible. He's exactly 40 years younger than me. He was born on my 40th birthday.
Okay.
So now you know how old I am.
No.
But
you're younger than me, so kiss my ass.
Yeah. No, I'm not younger than you.
Huh?
You're younger than me.
Huh?
I'm 52.
Oh, well, I thought you said
he was born on my 45th birthday, my son.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, that's right.
I just thought you were 40.
No, I'm 52.
Oh,
look
all right,
at
old
this
man.
hairline and all that.
Well, then it could have fell out from wrestling.
I know.
I mean, you could have been looked that beautiful way since prom.
I have been shaving my head for 30 years.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I started losing. I'm like, let's just get over this, over and done with.
I made that insinuation to my wife at one point. She's like, absolutely not. You're not going that bald that quickly. I'm like, I just don't want to screw with it.
Yeah, but it's time. So my son, he's 12. He comes in the other day. He's like, Dad, me and my buddy, we're going to go door to door, which people don't do anymore. Like, we used to go door to door. Do you want your driveway shoveled? And he wanted to wash their big trash cans. And he said, I'll come out and scrub your trash can inside and out for $20. But that sounds like a lot. Next thing I know, he comes back and he had 8 clients. And him and his buddy are out there scrubbing the gunk out of, your big trash cans.
Oh, yeah. It smells like bejesus, I'm sure.
Yeah. And I'm like, good for you, buddy.
Yeah.
So again, that work ethic. So went to college at Ohio University, not Ohio State, but Ohio University, with a lot of my buddies and my girlfriend, like that kind of thing. The prom queen. Yeah. Went with her.
That never lasts.
It lasted a year.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a rough breakup,
Mine lasted a week.
Really?
That's what happens when you go to Ole Miss, Brian.
Yeah. Well, who left who?
I left her.
Okay, yeah, and not me. I had my heart broken.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, sad, devastating. So, had to work through college. No surprise again. My parents couldn't pay for anything for college. So I got a job. There was a cute girl in my English class, and she worked in the phone room, the telethon, right? So you call alumni and ask for money. Okay. So I started that. They don't do it as much as they used to, but for a long time, you probably used to get phone calls from Ole Miss asking for money. That's what we did. And I was really good at it. And so I went from that to student manager. To my senior year, I ran the phone room. We were raising $1 million over the phone,
So when you started, did you have any aspirations of going into? Okay.
No, I was an international relations, political science major. So I wanted to work for the State Department. I even studied for the Foreign Service.
You wanted to work for the State Department?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I wanted to be a diplomat. I wanted to work for the State Department.
God bless you.
I wanted to be.
I didn't know people started out school that way.
Yep. No, not a lot do. Okay. I was in Model UN in high school. That was my one kind of, I don't want to say.
Okay. So you were exposed to that somewhere.
I loved it. My older brother was in politics. My other brother worked for the Republican Party of Ohio. And so he would expose me to things. And so I was really into political science and then got really into international relations. And that's what I wanted to do. But then I got good at this fundraising thing. So when I graduated, I had a path of, do I study for the Foreign Service and try to go that way? Or do I go into fundraising? I went into fundraising. And
can I go back for a second? Because this is intriguing to me. Because I always think we have, as you know, it's beyond the closing table. And of course, what I do, there's a lot of real estate centric people here.
Yeah.
And there's an ongoing theme with some of the best realtors in this area, especially, and that have come on this podcast. And they pick up the phone.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a lost art.
So the best ones are picking up the phone.
Yeah. And we have some, you can go listen to them. They'll put 15 hours a week on the phone.
Agreed.
And so did you develop like a system, if you will, on the calling? And because it almost sounds silly, but it's like people are scared to pick up the damn phone.
100% we had a system.
Okay.
And we would, before you ever went, even as a student, be on the phone. And even the programs I ran after that, and I'll tell you more, I started doing consulting worldwide about how to do this with the system. We didn't create, but a group of people, a couple of schools had this. You'd go through 12 hours of training before you ever got on the phone, even as a student. We paid you for training, but how to deal with an objection, how to build rapport, how to do all of these things over the phone that could get you then to the yes, probably like a lot of the realtors.
Yeah. You're trying to get to an end game. But it's intriguing to me that you're training an 18-year-old that isn't necessarily confident even on the phone of how to get there.
Yeah.
And having success.
Right. And some didn't make it, but we'd give them the skills to succeed. And once these kids learned it and they graduated, think about how hard it is to call someone you don't know and ask for money, right? I mean, it's so hard. These kids, once they learn that, think now they're not afraid to ask anybody for anything.
Yeah. Well, if you ask me for money, you can do anything.
You can do anything. Yeah. And so many people are missing, again, that skill. They're afraid to ask for things. They're afraid to go and do it. And I love that you mentioned the phone. Even today, so many people send an email, text, and people will text me, email. I'm like, I just pick up the phone and call them. I'm like, why are we doing this?
Yeah, you can go back 50 times.
Right. Yeah, why are we doing this?
We have agents that try and communicate with us the whole time, and they do deals entirely by text. And it takes some of the emotion out of it, I guess, for both parties. But I feel like, you and I may communicate for 6 hours to get to the same thing we could have solved in 2 minutes via text.
Right. And there's a fair amount to hear in inflections of voices. And we're still humans. We're still connecting. Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, that's changing and we're getting less and less connected.
I know, I'm sure your kids are the same. Like,
but we're humans.
Put that damn phone down.
100%. The one thing that, so my wife and I get in this debate, and I don't know where you have yours are girls, 2 girls.
Yeah,
and so I don't know if they do it. My girls, they're doing the Instagram and chit chat or TikTok and all that crap. But chit chat, that doesn't exist. That's a new one. Feel free to use that, folks. But my son's doing gaming. I'm like, oh gosh, darn it, this gaming stuff. The only reason it doesn't bother me is he's on video with his friends and they're talking. Yeah, at least
my girls
doing
do
it
the same thing
together. So I'm like, I can live with that. At least they're seeing faces and they're talking, and it's not just behind a screen.
Well, don't knock the gaming totally, because I had a meeting with his father he was telling me about, and he was wearing his kid out, and I'd be just like him until I heard this story. Get your ass off the couch, go do something. Well, the kid got a full ride to one of the colleges in South Florida to be on their freaking gaming team.
It's a thing. Every once in a while, you see it on ESPN. I mean, there's sports leagues
now. The dad was baffled.
Yeah. There's sports leagues now. I know.
The dad didn't even know it was a possibility. And next thing you know, I'm not paying for college. Go get some.
Right. It's like sports. You better be the best of the best at it.
Yeah, for sure. But, it's
well, that's why I was so happy when the kid was out
watching Super Mario Brothers, dude, with 2 A-B buttons.
I didn't even have that because I'm older than you, as we established earlier. I had the joystick with 1 button, like Atari. Yeah.
Space Invader.
That was it. Yeah. We would all gather around and my dad was the best at it.
I just threw myself on the bus too.
That was it. Yeah. We would watch can you got to the score so high it would flip back to 0, and that was the goal.
Yeah.
Because they didn't, that's how computers work. Like yeah.
All right. So you kind of developed a passion for, was it fundraising or the asking for money part?
Yeah, it's weird enough. It was probably the asking for money part.
Yeah. Because it can kind of be a rush when you have success.
It was.
Like anything.
It was. Yeah. Of course. For me, it was. If you're built that way, it is. I mean, probably for you, when you get a big deal, and it's a rush. Yeah.
Well, even when bringing a sponsor, have some success for one of the charities.
100%. Yeah. And so that's how it started. It's gratifying, right? And I like being in the university setting, and I'm a people person. So that's how it started. But there was 1 or 2 moments where things changed for me. And it's how I view philanthropy now, right? And we'll go back. I know you've heard me say this. I'll say it again. But philanthropy, if you break down the word, is philos, which is love, and anthropos, which is humankind. And so that's what this is really about.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know that. Again, it was the rush. It was fun. I liked it. I was good at it and all of that. But I remember I was working at Iowa State, and I went to Iowa State because they had one of the best fundraising programs, and I wanted to be associated with the best. And there was a really good.
So you went in that direction.
Yeah. I knew right away. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give up that, and this is going to be my career path.
Isn't Iowa State really good at wrestling too?
They are. Yeah. Okay. And which was fun too, because that's how I knew it, right? There was a guy named Cale Sanderson, still the best wrestler, and he's the best wrestling coach. He's at Penn State.
Okay.
But, so this was one of these big moments for me. It was, we'd call it an all call. They're going to do a big gift announcement of somebody that gave, $5-10 million. And then I asked the staff all to show up and clap and make the people feel good. Okay, fine. So I went to my first one, and these people were given $5 or $10 million. They owned a trucking company. And
worked their way a deal out of it?
Like a ribbon cutting.
So, and ceremony type deal.
Yeah, big thing. But they would want us to be in the audience, right?
This wasn't that long ago, but today that's a big chunk of change.
Yeah. Still, but even back then, this would have been 97.
Okay,
so that's big gifts.
So that's probably 50 today.
Right. Yeah, huge. So we show up,
sounds.
And it wasn't about the money. The thing that moved me that day was these people started crying. I'm like, why
are people giving the money?
You're giving the money.
Okay.
And you're like, and again, I'm 22 at this time, and I don't really get all this yet. Again, I'm doing it for the rush. I like this job. It's fun. I'm at universities, and it feels good. And I had to pay my way through college, so it was nice to know I'm helping other kids out. But I didn't fully get the next part. And the next part was this. These donors were crying because they were so happy to be doing this. And the fundraisers, and not me, because I didn't work with them, they felt so good about making this gift. Thinking about it, giving away $10 million, $50 million today that you could buy a lot of stuff with, but they were getting a feeling and an emotion and something they couldn't get without being part of something philanthropic and something bigger. And if you go back to going back to college, the Maslow's hierarchy of theory, right? Like you got your base, you got to have food, shelter, and then it's this and that. The very top is self-actualization, which very few people get to. And that's becoming something bigger than yourself, being one and understanding things around you. That's what fundraising, if we do it really, really, really well, is not only are we raising money to help out the kids again. I mean, it's so philanthropic in your family and you know that piece. But what's so important to us and to me, my job is to make sure you feel really good about doing that. And so that when you put your head down at night, you're like, that felt good. That was not, we had fun. We drank red wine. We helped out kids, but also it's okay. Feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
You just did something great. You made the world better. And that's a feeling that you can't necessarily get from buying a new Tesla or going to Portugal or whatever. Those are great experiences. They're going to bring you joy or watching your kids succeed. I mean, those are all joyful moments. This is a different kind of joy to know there's something bigger than me and I'm part of it and I'm making a difference.
Yeah.
And that can feel really, really damn good. And so it's from that moment on that I realized fundraising and philanthropy is different than what I thought it was. I thought it was just about who gets the money and how it helps the kids and or whatever it is that you care about. Mm-hmm. And that is part of it. That's 100% a massive part of it. Where I think a lot of fundraisers and people that run foundations misses the other part is our obligation to make our donors, you, our board members, volunteers, feel really, really damn good at the end of the day. And it's not just about the event and the fun that we had. It's that other feeling, that other emotion. And that's what we owe you, frankly, because you get nothing in return, right? You get a tax write-off, but look, you make more money keeping it. So what I owe you,
I never look at it that way.
Right. What I owe you is one that I keep my trust of what I say I'm going to invest it with.
Yeah.
Right. Because I consider your gift an investment, but also is to give you that feeling, that emotion that, hey, I did something bigger myself and I needed a partner to do that with me. And I needed a nonprofit to do that. And that's what, since that moment, I've tried to challenge myself to think that way.
And watching these people kind of change it in your mind.
Yeah. And then I started paying attention more of that, watching donors do that more and more.
Well, I understand that. I mean, I'm very blessed to be able to give back to the community that we do. But when you're giving something totally unselfishly and you know what it's for, but the example, when we go to Carnival and we go to the school and you see it.
Yeah.
But I don't know that little girl that we're helping.
Right.
But I give the money, or, many donors give the money not knowing exactly what it's for, but you all and many charities create accountability with their donors, but also what I'm hearing you say, you try and create an experience where it accentuates that giving.
Yeah. That's why two things you'll notice.
Where you really feel good about it.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why you'll notice, like this event coming up, it's hard because some of the beneficiaries we support here locally, which we can talk about later, it's not appropriate to have them at this event. They're younger kids. We're drinking, we're having a good time.
Yeah.
Right.
We struggled with that before.
Right. But all of our other events, like the one that you were at down in South Florida that we do.
Yeah.
So that's called Line Vinodine. I mean, but for all the people listening, right? We go fishing during the day. We come back. We have the chefs, the vintners, and all that. But notice through that whole weekend, the two beneficiaries are Culinary Marino, which is young kids with developmental disabilities that are in hospitality programs. We're there the whole weekend, working side by side. One, so that they're learning a skill set. Two, the chefs and winemakers are realizing that these are employable, good folks. But then three is you as a donor go, that's who I'm supporting, that person, and that's why we have them tell the stories and all of that is one, so that you can see and know. But you're right. It might not be that specific person. And so you do then have to trust your charity that we're doing that. And we're not perfect, but I take your gift as investment. I really do. And then I try to report back on that investment. I mean, you're on our board and you're not on our finance committee, but our finance committee every month gets every expenditure, every penny. They see I have nothing to hide.
Yeah.
And
that's the way it should be.
That's how it should be.
You be open and honest. And I think the ones that, there's plenty out there. We'll go down that rabbit hole. But, when you're people running the organization are, living way better than a lot of people that maybe, even some of the people donating.
Right.
And your giving percentage is just out of whack.
Right. And look, I believe that people in nonprofits should be paid well. Why is it that other businesses, it's okay to get paid more? Like, no one cares, how much the CEO of Coca-Cola makes. that doesn't stop you from buying Coca-Cola or one of these energy drinks. But we worry about how much does the CEO of a nonprofit make. Now, we need to be aware of it as long as the return we're getting. So it should be less about what does it cost? It's more about what's the impact? What's that return, right? So like, I don't care if a CEO is making $2 million if they are changing the world and doing amazing, amazing work.
I was more coming from the abuse because I agree.
Yeah, but no, there is abuse.
100%.
Yeah, but there is abuse, or there's just a lack of caring, And look, we don't pinch every penny. You come to our events, we're hospitality,
money, but you make people feel good about themselves when they come there, and it's an experience.
Yeah, so I don't mind spending money as long as the return on that money is good. And look, sometimes we'll spend big money on something, but again, it attracts people that turns into big money. This morning before I was coming here, don't tell the people at the hotel I was at, I won't say which one, they had some coffee or they had the Starbucks next door. Mm-hmm. I'm like, look, I really want good coffee, but I'm not going to go pay $8. I'll just get a little cheap cup of coffee on the way here and save. Look, I don't always do that, but it's $4. Like, why not save $4? You know? And so there's little things you can do. Look, we're not cheap by any means, but there's things you can do. You just got to be aware. That's $4 more. That's 2 meals of our summer feeding program.
There you go.
Just by getting
putting in perspective.
Yeah.
So, and you talked about us, you talked about Lime Vitadine, and I, not, having some of the beneficiaries, especially the kids, seeing some of the silliness that goes on to raise all this money, but they are there when we come off the boat sometimes. Yeah. Which whatever, but it's, and the same thing for Carnival, but that's part of it. You create an environment, whether it's wine. I mean, I use wine all the time to help raise money. That's like what I do, wine and food. Yeah. But in Carnival, and y'all do a good job of showing this, the foundation does, but not to the detail that I know because of being on the board and friends that we have. But you've got kids that have gone through the NOCU, am I saying that right?
Or NOCA,
NOCA, yeah. Who are now working in Chef Emeril Lagasse's restaurants. Yeah, and they started really when they were kids.
Really cool.
Which is just nuts to me.
Yeah.
In a good way.
Yeah.
There was a positive way. They've gone all the way through school, had this culinary experience, and now they got one that's like a second chef, second in command.
Yep.
I don't know the terminology.
Yeah.
I was just a dishwasher when I was in high school. I didn't move up at all.
It was the end of the road for you.
But to me, that success story is amazing.
It's unbelievable. I mean, so I'll give you one example. There's this girl, Janae. Janae first started in the Culinary Garden teaching kitchen programs, like a little kid, elementary school kid. Got exposed to food. Thought it was really interesting. Then went to NOCA. That you mentioned. Then through part of our support, but another organization that we're friends with, funded her to go to Johnson & Wales, which is where Emeril went to culinary school. Mm-hmm. She did that. Then she did some staging and touring around Europe, getting more exposure. We helped fund her a little bit. And now she is one of the lead chefs at Merrill.
Yeah.
From a little kid all the way through.
That's awesome.
And then the beauty is...
But she wouldn't have ever had that opportunity because she was,
she had
from a rough neighborhood in New Orleans.
Yeah,
is that a correct statement?
Yeah, she had a lot of obstacles against her, and that's most of the kids we're looking at. We always say, we help them become their very best of whoever they are to their limits. And so sometimes it's kids coming from really tough financial situations. Sometimes it's kids with developmental disabilities. Sometimes it's kids, we want their best chefs. They're going to become an amazing executive chefs. Some of them, it's just become employable. Some of them are these teaching learning cafes that we support as well. It's giving them trust and leadership and learning a culinary trade. It's just a pathway out of the lifestyle that they're in and the dangers that their friends are going down through drugs and gangs and all that, and say, this is a different pathway. And
a leg up to get out.
Yeah.
Just get out.
That's right. Yeah. And in New Orleans and a lot of the places, we use food as a pathway and make sure it's not an obstacle. That's like kind of basically what we do in our work. And
I love it.
It is the way to get out. It's a pathway. And food is something that's universal and it's everywhere. And hospitality, you can. And right here, in this part of Florida, I mean, hospitality, right?
Huge.
Massive. That's what people come from.
Everybody bitches about staff.
And you can't find staff. The challenge is, and it's been talked about here, where I was talking to a couple people, Chan and a couple others. I forget who else was looking at this at the time. Maybe it was Jim Shirley. They were trying to tackle this issue because if you go north of the highway, there's a lot of people that are unemployed and facing a lot of challenges. There's a pretty big drug epidemic, and I'm not trying to categorize and say everyone, but some of these things exist.
It's real.
And so how can you get this population that has challenges and obstacles in life and dealing with some really hard things, and then use food again as the pathway to get them down here? Well, the biggest problem is the training we can help, right? You can create it's transportation is the biggest issue. Not even to come here, it's transportation to and from a training program and all of that. I'm not talking about a world-class training program. I'm talking about these teaching learning cafes where you come in the first half of the days, you learn social skills, you learn how to open a banking account, you learn the soft skills. The second half is running a cafe. And so people tried to figure that out here so we don't have to import all of our labor. I mean, I know how much labor in this place is from outside the country. And I'm not saying that's good or bad, but when we have people
No, there's
30, 40
plenty
miles
of people
away
here without jobs that should be able to support. I think drive's part of it, but if they had a path, or you could at least give them a path for training, there is, you said north of the highway, there's now north of the highway and north of the bay.
Really, yeah.
And I say there's an ample amount, but there's a good opportunity because that's where this county is growing.
Yeah.
So go back to, you went to Iowa State.
Yeah.
Were you running a program there?
Yeah. So I was running that phone room.
Okay.
Right? Like I was there every night.
So that was your
I had 120 students working for me. And
good Lord.
Yeah. I worked that night and I didn't know anybody in Iowa. And I was working, this is no surprise.
Yeah,
it was fun.
Neither do I.
Yeah. Actually, I liked it. I mean, I'll never move back there, but I went there to learn. And I went there to learn from really good people. And that's one of the things that I'll always say is, like, I am not a very smart person, but I'm smart enough to find smart people and do what they do. And that's what I did. Yeah. And so there was two people there, a guy named Sean Keister. He's the head of all fundraising for UC Davis. He's the president of the national, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, soon to be maybe the president of the National Fundraising Organization for Higher Education. This guy's a superstar. That was my boss. And then above him was the president of the foundation, guy named Tom Mitchell that ran all fundraising in Florida. And two big names. They ended up being big names.
Okay.
And they kind of took me around. When one left Iowa, as I worked my way up at Iowa, he went to UC Irvine. So I followed him to UC Irvine, did fundraising there, did fundraising for a hospital.
Are you single at this time?
No. So I met my wife in Iowa. She actually was in fundraising too at Kansas.
Okay.
So she knew the fundraising and all of that.
Is she a Midwesterner?
Yeah. She's from Kansas.
And she accepted you from being Ohio?
Yeah. Well, Ohio, we kind of say we're Midwesterners a little bit, you know. we both like French onion dip and cream of mushroom soup casseroles. That's prerequisite for Midwest.
What? Cream of mushroom soup casserole?
Well, it's just the cream of mushroom, you know, that stuff in the can.
Yeah.
You just put that to any casserole, you know, you just mix it all together.
Rice and like green bean casserole.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what it's rednecks in the South, you know.
Yeah.
That's what
there it's, you know, a staple.
Yeah.
So yeah, met her and got married in Iowa. All that. Again, same story. Had to pay for our wedding, had to pay for everything. We had a small little wedding in Vegas.
Please tell me you did it in Elvis Chapel.
So funny enough. So I actually do love Elvis. I think he's like the coolest dude ever. So, we had to pay for everything. So we did it outside. It used to be nicer than it is now, but the garden's outside the Flamingo. But that's all we could do.
Yeah.
But the one thing we did is she walked down to I Can't Help Falling in Love with You by Elvis.
Okay.
And then our wedding invite, we can only do a very small wedding. I think we had like 40 people. We took the movie poster from Viva Las Vegas of Elvis and Margaret. And instead, we changed it to starring Brian Kish and Nicole Richardson. And then the co-stars were our groomsmen and all that. So that was our wedding invitation.
Okay.
So it was very Elvis-y.
Cool.
For our 5th anniversary, our neighbors hired us, or 10th, hired us a Elvis impersonator as a surprise party.
So there is a theme here.
Oh, yeah. There is an Elvis theme.
Love it.
Yeah. So we didn't go full cheesy, but we went pretty cheesy.
Like you said, you did what you could.
We did what we could. Yeah.
And it was awesome.
That's all we could do. We came back, and we can only invite a couple people, and we came back, and we had a huge party at like a park shelter, you know, and we grilled sausage, got a keg of beer, and that's all we could do.
Sounds like a good time.
And we had a great time. Yeah. We had fun. So we did that move to California.
So did y'all work together, or did she work for you?
Maybe we worked together.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. It's all right.
But we weren't officially.
It all worked out.
Yeah, we weren't officially together until maybe she left.
Okay.
So let's just, for the record.
Brian was fraternizing with the help. That's what I heard.
We were friends. We were
fair enough.
We were friendly.
Okay.
So
y'all went to what next?
We went to UC Irvine in Orange County.
Okay.
God. Totally different world going from Iowa to Orange County.
Okay.
Holy cow. And as much as I like Orange County, it wasn't two Midwesterners. It wasn't for us.
Yeah.
I learned to surf there, which I loved, and I still like to surf. I keep my surfboard there with friends. I love to go visit. It just wasn't a place where we wanted to raise kids. And this, George, was, let's see, this was like 2001, 2002. When was that massive, big bubble that popped in real estate when we had all the subprime stuff? Was that like 2003 or 2000?
So you had you have one in kind of in 02.
Okay, so it was 02.
01, 02.
Okay, so
and then the big one was 08.
Okay, so when we were there right before 02.
Okay.
So this is when Orange County was just exploding. And there was people, like we could barely get in a condo because the prices were going up so much in Orange County. There was young people, 25 years old. They were living in $1 million houses wearing, they all were driving their BMW 3 Series. They all looked the same. They were all wearing $200 pair of jeans. Like, where are you guys getting this money? They were just buying little tiny houses, flipping them, and it was going up 30% a year, the value of your home. So in 3.5 years, your home doubled. They would take it, selling it, and they were doing all these crazy balloon mortgages. I barely understand, but you know it better than I. And so when the bubble popped, there was this city called Ladera Ranch right outside where we lived. A third of the homes were foreclosed.
That was probably 08.
Maybe it was that, let's see, 96. So I was there for 5 years, 2001. Maybe it was. I can't remember.
When did you go to New Orleans?
So I've been in New Orleans for 11 years. So when was that? So I was in Iowa from like 96 to like maybe 5 years. So that would have been 2001. I don't know.
It may have been 01.
Yeah.
But 01 wasn't that dramatic.
It wasn't. Well, it was bad in Orange County, but maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was 08. I can't remember. I'm getting old.
All right, whatever. Don't try that.
So now we got out. So what happened is we were renting.
Did you buy anything?
So that's what happened. We were renting and we met some people and they're like, you got to buy because this 30%. We're like, we don't have any money. We can't do this. He's like, do it. And we got one of those, stupid loans, got it, bought a house. And in 2.5 years, one, we realized Orange County wasn't for us. But two is I was in debt with college loans and credit cards. We realized if we sold our house and moved somewhere else, because Orange County in particular was just going bananas.
Yeah.
We could get out of debt.
Awesome.
And so we did. And so we left.
Good for you.
And we got out of debt like that.
So where'd you go?
We went to Newport, Rhode Island. And
literally,
and we drove across the country too, which was so cool.
3,000 miles away.
We've lived everywhere.
Okay.
I always had.
How did you get a job?
Yeah, so good.
Orange County to Rhode Island.
Always wanted to, strangely as it sounds, I always wanted to live in New England. It had this mystique to me. And I had been to Boston. I'd been to Providence once. I used to speak a lot at conferences for fundraising.
Mm-hmm.
I also had done consulting for about 20 years, fundraising consulting. And it's hard with teaching people how to do this phone calling, but it turned into bigger stuff.
So you have a day job and kind of consulting.
I was doing 2 jobs. Yeah.
Okay.
Even when I was doing that, and my boss knew when I ended up at Arizona, but I used to do consulting in the Middle East. I'd done stuff in Cairo. I did stuff in South Africa, Saudi Arabia.
Really?
I did fundraising consulting in Mexico, bunch in Canada, all over the world. But I'd been
all
over the country, but I was doing this like at night, weekends, doing a day job, working crazy hours. I did for about 20 years.
Kids yet?
Not yet, but we were starting to have them.
Okay.
And so my wife stopped working so that we could do that. But I was still working insane, crazy hours. So I was doing a consulting job at this little school in Newport, Rhode Island called Salve Regina University.
Okay. But you moved there.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Newport?
I never had that mystique.
So you and Steph should.
I grew up in the South.
But you guys now,
and
your girls would like it too. Newport is cool. So it's an island off Rhode Island.
Okay.
It was founded in 1646. What's his name? Lafayette was stationed there during the American Revolution. Washington's been there. They have part of the city that's colonial that people still live in. Houses from the 1700s. But
Cool.
what made Newport famous was in the late 1800s, early 1900s, that's where the robber barons built their mansions.
Okay.
So the New Yorkers would summer in Newport. And these castles. And they're still there. Well, in the 60s or 70s, the family that had these two huge mansions, look it up, South Virginia University, you can see I'll show you later, the mansion. They donated the school and they built a small school there, and it's about 2,000 students.
Okay.
And so I went there to work. Now, part of the other reason that I did that and why I've taken these jobs all along the way was I also had another strategy in mind. I was always trying to think 2 steps ahead. So when I would take a job, it wasn't about that job. It was, but it was also about what would that job give me to get me to the next job. Mm-hmm. So I was always saying, how do I get well-rounded? What do I need to get to where I eventually wanted to be? And I always wanted to run a foundation, either a university foundation. I thought it was a university foundation, but I love this so much more. But I knew I had to go have this skill set. I needed planned giving. I needed corporate giving. I needed alumni relations. I needed to work with boards. So when I took jobs, I made sure they had skills that I was missing, experiences. And
developing your full package of skill sets.
That's right. Cool. So that's why I went from a big university to a small university, because it gave me more exposure to things.
Okay.
And I did that. We loved Newport, frankly. Was there for about 5-6 years. 2 of our kids were born there. It's this little island, but also living on an
cold.
Island. It can get cold. Okay. Yeah. You're not going to make it. Go in the summer. It's the yachting capital of America.
Man, I want to be skiing.
Yeah, you didn't got that. What's funny, I used to surf out there, and the surfing in the winter is when the waves come. And so you talk about cold. You have to wear you look like a seal.
Yeah.
You load it up, and you got gloves and booties. And
isn't that also where the great whites are?
In the summer.
Yeah. Okay.
That's more the Cape. Yeah, you're fine.
Right here, I'm at the top of the food chain. You're in that water, you're not.
Well, you guys get sharks here a little bit.
Yeah, they're bull sharks. They got to run into you before they bite you.
Yeah, they're the big boys out there.
Oh, no, there's bull sharks are big.
Yeah.
Those are the biggest ones, but
I thought bull sharks are aggressive.
They can be, but they're dumb.
Oh,
so they typically, if there's a bite, they run into somebody. Now, there was an instance 2 summers ago that one went crazy, and we think this is a crazy theory, but have you heard of the movie Cocaine Bear?
Yes. You think you got a little something?
Well, there was 2 bites within an hour, right along this stretch of beach. And I'm not trying to scare people, but that's very, very rare.
Yeah.
Extremely rare.
Yeah.
And the same day or the day after, a bunch of cocaine washed up down the beach.
Shut up. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Cocaine shark, the real story. No, I didn't know that
part. It's
part.
so crazy.
I heard about the shark attacks, but
yeah, the cocaine washed up down the beach.
It really could be. Sharks don't attack. I mean,
not typically.
Right.
They don't like humans.
No, more people die getting kicked by donkeys than shark attacks, honestly.
Bull sharks they say they're aggressive, but they're usually either one of the bites that happened years ago when there was a few during the summer, and of course, media blows it totally out of proportion. They don't tell you that the guy was fishing on the sandbar out there with a bag of shrimp strapped to his leg.
Yeah. So what does the shark think?
Yeah, he bit the shrimp. So anyway,
how do we get there?
We digress.
Yeah.
So I was just thinking of you getting eaten by a great white.
Well, you do look like a seal. You're all loaded up.
Yeah. So, all right. So you were in Rhode Island for 5 years.
Yeah, for about 5 years.
So best experience from the little school.
Yeah, it was great. But
what'd you learn?
There was limitations. So again, every time I go somewhere, and again, I'll follow people, I always try to learn. And so that person, I'm still, friends with that guy that was my boss. One of the things that I learned from him, and I try to share this with my staff, is so I was the number 2 in charge, right? So I wasn't number 1, but I was number 2 of fundraising and alumni relations, which was a nice step up for me. I mean, at this stage, I'm 34 or something. It was a great job.
Yeah.
And I'm still doing all this consulting worldwide and nationwide and speaking at conferences and all that. So I thought I was kind of hot shit too, to be honest with you. Going to the small school, I thought I was hot shit. So first of all, I was humbled a little bit. But the other was this. I remember...
You were humbled by going to the smaller school? What do you mean by that?
That I thought I was so smart coming from a big school and speaking all over, and then realize, again, if you're taking the next job to stretch yourself, you still have a lot to learn. And luckily I still had enough maturity to know I still had stuff to learn, but I thought I knew a lot. And you know what? I did. I helped advance the program. They'll say I did because I brought in a lot of experience. But when I don't want to say humbled, but what I learned from him was this. I remember we had really good open debate, and he and I were disagreeing on something. I don't even remember what it was. And I thought the answer was crystal clear. Like, we should do this. This makes no sense. Why would you not do this? And he stopped. He said, Brian, you're great. You're an assistant vice president. You understand 75% of the pie. Your staff maybe understands 50%. The lower staff understands 25%.
Oh.
It's like, you understand 75%. He's like, but because of my job and what I'm exposed to, there's 25% you don't know. And let me tell you on this topic what you don't know on this 25%. And he explained something to me about something with a board member. And I'm like, oh, that's why you're making that decision. He's like, yes. He's like, you got to just trust me sometimes that, look, I trust you. But sometimes there's a part that you don't know and I maybe can't tell you, or you're not part of those conversations. There is still more to understand. And I try to share that with my staff now today too.
It's mentorship.
Sometimes you got to understand, I got to make decisions and do things because of other reasons you don't understand. And you don't need to, frankly, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Also, come and ask me and I'll try to tell you, and if I forget to tell you why. So that was something I learned from him a little bit. The other one,
staff is bitching about me getting you to donate me tickets.
They would never do that.
Okay.
You can have whatever you want to. Georgia 70 brand get whatever they want.
No.
But again,
my job is to bring in people to spend money, sir.
And you are doing it.
I'm trying.
And you are doing it.
We're going to see tomorrow.
We'll find out
Saturday.
Yeah. The other thing I learned was from this old school Rhode Islander. There's some really cool, Rhode Island accent is great. That's why if you ever hear Emeril, everyone's like, what's Emeril's accent? So Emeril.
Oh, I love people think he's from Louisiana. It's funny as shit.
And where he grew up it's right by Newport.
Yeah.
It's right across the water. And
so it's that close to the, okay.
Yeah. It was from my house.
I want to go up there.
You got to go see it.
Did you go to his town that was
Fall River.
We
call it the Riviera.
Yeah.
The only time we'd go over there is to go get Portuguese food. Okay. Because there's a huge Portuguese population all over there.
Suppose there's a statue there too.
Of him?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
He is their proudest son. I mean, they love him there, and rightfully so.
Well, and extremely proud of his heritage and Portuguese food.
Yeah. And the Portuguese really are all over there. Actually, it's a lot of Azorean.
Amazing food.
Yeah. A lot of Azorean there, which is really cool. But, the other thing I learned, I was talking about people with accents.
Yeah.
This old Rhode Islander, which I loved, Norman, I can't even know his last name, but you could barely understand me. He had this accent, but he always used to say, hug the rail, Brian, hug the rail. I'm like, what does that mean? And he explained it to me. It's like, I always loved that you would hug the rail and keep doing it whenever you leave. I'm like, what is it? And he was one of our board members. And what he meant is in a horse race, because he also was a gambler. If take the horse and watch the horse. And if you're racing, stay close to the rail. Even if you're in the back, just stay close to that rail because you got the shortest distance. And just put your head down and stay close to the
inside rail.
The inside rail.
Okay.
Yeah. And just put your head down and just keep staying tight on that inside rail. And you're going to catch up and probably surpass the other horses that are jockeying around and thinking they're faster and going outside. I
like that.
And all that. I'm like, I love that. And he's like, just hug the rail, keep hugging the rail. And it's kind of just put your head down, keep doing the right things, and it's all going to pay off.
Love it.
I'm sure you do that with your staff and your work too. It's like we got to
have somebody that hugs the rail. I'm going to use that now.
Yeah, hug the rail.
I'm a blackjack guy. I'm not a horse racing guy.
Play the
whatever. But I like hug the rail.
Yeah. So anyway, I learned that from him.
Okay.
So meanwhile, an old friend, again, people that I look up to is this guy named Jim Moore. He runs all fundraising for Illinois now. Was a really hot up and coming guy and was somebody I knew and someone I respected. And again, I was doing some speaking at Arizona and he's like, hey, would you ever be interested to come to work here? And I've always,
where is here?
University of Arizona.
Oh, okay.
So he offered me a senior vice president job. So again, I liked Newport. I loved living there, but there was just limitations with the school. And this was an incredible offer, big time job, good money that would advance with 2 kids. Now I needed a little bit more salary. Yeah. A smaller school couldn't afford it. And it was an opportunity to have senior vice president. I had 60 people under me, work for him directly at a school.
All in fundraising?
Oh, that was only half of the staff. We would raise $250 million a year cash. Jeez. Think about it. You would have to raise almost $1 million a day. And that's nothing. There's schools now that are raising, they're probably even raising more than that, but some of these schools are raising $500 million. You got to raise more than $1.5 million a day. And so I went there.
Why is education so expensive? But that's a different podcast.
That is a whole damn podcast. I would love to be on and have a great debate, because
next time you're back, I'll have you back.
I am so fired up about it because it is messed up.
Yeah.
And that was one thing. And I don't want to slam Arizona because it's been everywhere. And the numbers haven't changed that much. I track higher ed fundraising and very attuned to what's happening. But there's becoming this big thing where there's this huge dichotomy now, and there's $100 million gifts coming into universities. It's a fancy ringer. And these big gifts, but they're losing a lot of the small gifts. But more importantly is, where's this money going? And why is tuition? If you look in the last 30 years, tuition has gone up more than the cost of living, than the cost of healthcare, than the cost of your home, everything. Nothing repeats. Why? When they're raising more money. And there's a lot of reasons why. And one of them is, I would argue, is they're not ran like businesses. And they're the most inefficient operations I've ever seen.
They're ran like governments.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. And it's heartbreaking. And I told someone, and the higher up you get, the more you see of it. And when I was finally at Arizona, and at my other job too, is you see how things are ran. And look, there's a lot of reasons. It's complex. I don't want to simplify it and say anyone's wasting money, and I don't want to make those accusations. Maybe off the mic.
No, I'm with you.
But how dollars are invested. The other thing that happened to me, so I had another moment, remember, go full circle, when I saw people cry to make that first gift, and that really moved me and changed the way I did fundraising. One of the things that made me want to get out of higher ed fundraising. Now, again, I was there for 6 years.
You're at Arizona.
I'm at Arizona, loving it. Good big sports. I love college sports. I'm hosting people in the box that had field passes. My boss was awesome, Jim Moore. Still love that guy. We got a new university president, frankly, that I did not believe in, and the stuff she was doing and the way she was running the university. I just said, I can't go out and raise money knowing that she's the leader. I won't do it. My heart.
Yeah.
And I could have, most of us left when she came in. But
she more on the woke side?
Yes, but it was just, she thought donors were vending machines, cash machines. And again, what I believe is, no, it's about giving them that experience too, and that movement. But there was something else that happened, going back to this crazy, right? Like, you got to raise $1 million a day, and the huge sums, and how it gets lost at universities, and how people, again, this leaders like, well, we're sitting at a board meeting, and the new executive vice president of health services, we had a huge hospital and medical complex, comes in, talks about his vision. And there was a donor there that says, you know what, out of nowhere, she's like, I love your vision. Welcome. I want to write you a check, $1 million right now. You put it to whatever you think is most important. That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Like that much, $1 million, do whatever you want with it. I'm sitting there going, wow, that's amazing. You know what happened? Small golf clap, next topic. I'm like, that person took their dollars and made a choice to invest in that person that just spoke, and we gave a golf clap.
Mm-hmm.
But that's then what I started to see is just,
it became an expectation.
It became an expectation. And universities still have that. Yes. Yeah. And there is an expectation.
You in here, you should give back.
And that is the expectation.
And I think I guess I believe in some of that. If you feel like it gave you something of value that you took and were able to do with and make more money so you could get back.
Right.
There's some of that.
I do believe
the appreciation.
Right.
I think is important too.
And you're 100% right. Like, I think you should. I give back to my university. Yeah. I actually give the wrestling program, even though I don't wrestle, just because,
believe it or not,
I like wrestlers.
This is a concern of mine, and this is, a little, I get not selfish, may not was the right word, but isolated. Ole Miss has done a pretty good job of keeping their tuition down compared to other SEC schools. It baffles me why Auburn is $40,000 plus a year, Alabama, when they're state schools.
Right.
And it's just wild. I know they're fundraising, and they're bigger.
Oh yeah. They're raising plenty of money.
Those, and I'm not picking on, I don't know. I'm not familiar, but Florida's another one. 50,000.
Oh yeah.
And 50,000 students, but also extremely expensive, very hard to get into out of state now.
Yeah.
Because we have such a good scholarship program. I love that. But my fear for Ole Miss is because it's kind of become the, staple of the college experience, perception of
yeah.
the real college experience.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of Northeastern kids trying to get in it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's huge now.
Yeah. And so, which is not a bad thing. I'm not against that.
But what
is it going to change the culture of the school?
One, it will change the culture of the school. And Old Miss is Ole Miss. I mean,
we call it Old Miss. Strong college.
You know, for a long time, I didn't know it was University of Mississippi. Like, this is Ole Miss because
most people,
it's this culture, right?
Yeah.
And look, I don't want to say we should diverse all these things, but it's a culture, and I think that's great. And
it's a good thing.
Be proud of that, and that's what it is. If you don't like it, don't go to there. That's fine. There's other choices. But what happens at universities too? So in state, they charge you a certain amount. Out of state, they charge you, it's like not double, but it's probably like 60, 70%
is actually
more.
Very aggressive about out of state.
Right.
They're reasonable.
Because, other ones aren't.
But no,
they get paid.
Auburn's insane.
They make way more.
Yeah.
To take out of state because business. So now, one, you're losing that culture. Two, they're supposed to be state institutions and they're not.
Yeah, they're not catering to their kids in their state.
When I worked at UC Irvine, so the UC system is really good schools and I'll give them that. But when I was there, I remember a story of a kid that got into Yale. He lived in California, in Orange County. He got into Yale, he got into all the Ivy Leagues, but could not get into his own state school because they wanted out of state. My daughter applied to UC Irvine. She got in. Well, they want our out of state money.
That's interesting.
And so you'll see that. So there's a complete different tuition because they want the out of state. But yeah, how does that change cultures of schools? And is that right for state schools? And what about kids in state?
Yeah.
And we should be providing these opportunities. We do give them discounts or scholarship programs.
Yeah.
Louisiana
Florida's
has
got a great, I think Louisiana does too.
They
But
do
from the
too.
lottery,
if you can get in.
I get into multiple schools, and I wasn't like a genius, but I wasn't a bad student either when I actually paid attention. But I didn't get into Georgia because Georgia had already started it's kind of the reverse of what you're saying.
Yeah.
The in-state tuition through the lottery program, and it was much harder to get into than any other school in the SEC at that time. Maybe not Vanderbilt, but it was much more difficult because I got in the rest of them.
Yeah, but not
anyway.
It's
Ole Miss wasn't exactly hard to get into, but that's not why I went there.
But it's
a whole other story.
It's a system that is concerning for sure. And so going back to again that golf clap, and then between that and then also this university president that I just couldn't believe in, and so what you're saying, I agree 100%. Like if you benefit for something, I believe you should give back, but it shouldn't be expected, and that's the difference.
An expectation.
It became an expectation. You should just do this, and then again,
we gave you these tools. Give us money,
right? Give us money, and then are we reporting back because there's a lot of other good charities out there, right?
For sure.
And the ones that say,
I've got to believe in what the charity's doing. That's important. You know this about me.
That's right.
Give to the two main ones that we do because they funnel money back into the community where I make my dollars.
Yeah.
That is extremely important to me and my family.
Right.
So, I mean, and you guys do a great job of explaining that too. That's just as important.
Right.
You know, the Lagasse Foundation tells you where they're going, tells you what they're doing. Like you said, very transparent, which I appreciate.
Yeah. And we do. And we'll say, look, and I'll say it on Saturday. By the end of this year, we'll have invested over $5 million in the state of Florida, 3 of it right here in this county. Mm-hmm. Now, look, we're a national charity. We give in 15 different places. We do more than just give money. We run programs now. We have our Culinary Garden Teaching Kitchen where we're working. You know, it's not our teachers, but it's our program. Our own Sanchez Scholarship and the mentorship and those scholarship kids. I mean, when those kids are there, we don't just like, here's your scholarship, goodbye. I mean, we work with them all the time. I mean, there's one of the alumni right now, he's in the hospital in New Orleans, and our director of the Ron Sanchez Impact Fund is there checking on him, bringing him things, helping him figure out financially because he doesn't have health insurance. You know, so we do more than just give too.
Well, but I think you're talking about recognizing and appreciating donors. I think by asking people for money in a certain community and demonstrating the foundation's willingness to give back to that community is a show of appreciation too.
100. And that is
recognize that part as well.
Yes.
I love that.
And we're trying to do more of that. Yeah. Like when we were in South Florida, that's why, you know, again, people come from all over. Even this event, Throwdown, it has become, thanks to you, a lot more localized, which we wanted.
Sure.
But we'll have people from New Orleans. We'll have people from Georgia. We'll have people from Texas, New York. Yeah. There might be a guy coming in from New York at the last minute, hopefully.
Okay.
But like when we were in South Florida, again, people from all over, but a good chunk of that money, especially the fundraising need, every penny went back into South Florida. So that's what we try to always do as well.
Love it. All right. So wait, you left Arizona, good experience, but didn't maybe writing on the wall.
Yeah.
Where'd you go from there?
Yeah. So now I said, all right, I've collected all my skill sets. Now I want to be the head of a foundation.
You're ready to be the boss.
I'm ready to be the boss.
Let's go.
Think I'm ready. So I thought I was going to be in higher ed, but I was going to give up on public schools. I didn't want to do big public schools anymore. I was looking at smaller private schools so I could really know where the money was going and create a culture that I thought was appropriate for our donors and what philanthropy.
So you weren't thinking outside of education yet?
I wasn't.
Okay.
I wasn't. But I was a huge Emeril Lagasse fan. And he knows this. Oh, he knows.
You a fanboy?
Oh,
I didn't know that.
Huge. So I dressed up as Halloween one year. I'll show a picture in the Iowa State newspaper. Me and a group of students joined the chili contest, and we did Emeril's Cajun chili. And we gave beads, and I bammed, and I dressed up like them. And he's seen this.
He knows.
So, oh, yeah, my mom waited 2 hours in line one year for an autograph for me. Like, freak.
Okay.
Man. If you asked me 11 and a half years ago if I could meet anybody in America, he would have been in my top 2 or 3. Swear to God. He knows this.
Small world. That's
so I'm
cool.
telling him some of this at an interview, and Gary Sullivan, if you know Gary.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, you're being a creep. Stop it. That's Gary. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Back down.
So imagine. I'm a headhunter. I didn't hire him, but they come to me and say, hey, I know you've been looking at these other jobs. They haven't worked out. But because at this stage, I'm under 40 and I'm applying for jobs that's usually people with grayer hair and older, whatever. Mm-hmm. She said, but I noticed at the bottom of your resume, you put other interests. Like, why did you ever put that crap on your resume? Well, it worked this time. And I wrote culinary, travels, cooking, wine exploration, things that I personally loved.
Yeah.
And they're like, would you be interested in this job? And she told me. And I know exactly where I was sitting. And I'm like, what? She's like, I think you'd be good. I'm like, this is a dream. Are you kidding me? So I apply and I hear the story later on. So I come in late in and they narrow it down to 5 people, the search firm did. And there was 5 people. They were all older, had more experience. And one of them was an old Miss grad. And the Lagasses love.
Big disadvantage.
Oh, yeah. And so the rest of the board's like, this is a done deal.
Where is Ohio?
Yeah, they're going to hire the old Miss guy. This is done.
Yeah.
But let's bring the final
go through the exercise.
Yeah. So they bring the final 4 and I'm the last one. They already pretty much decided they like old Miss guy. They love him. And so then I come in and Emeril and I just connected. And not only about the way we work and the way we think and all that, but how much I love food and wine. And like it really is. I'm not saying that to get a job and say, because I think it's
my
favorite thing to do.
I mean, you're running a foundation that basically raises money around that and delivers a product.
That's right.
Around that.
That's right. So interview went great. I laughed. I mean, I don't get nervous about a lot of things. I mean, I was nervous.
Did you ask for an autograph?
No, but man, I wanted to. God, did I want to. Like sneaking fake pictures. I'm like, I'm sitting across Emeril. And he's like, Emeril. He's like, you want a glass of wine? I'm like, I came from university. I'm like, I can't have a glass of wine.
Chef,
now.
It's 9:30.
Yeah, exactly. Breakfast Chardonnay. Breakfast Chardonnay. Which now I'm like, well, now I know you don't even ask. It's just the glass comes. And like, the answer is yes. Alden told me that one time. Brian, don't ever ask me if I want more wine. The answer is yes. And same with you. I'm like, I'm in. Okay. So I knew I've landed in the right place. So anyway, I leave. I guess the conversation goes, he looks and goes, that's my guy. And I was like, really? I thought you wanted to. He's like, that's it. There's something. We just connected. I go back to my hotel. The next day, I'm flying to Chicago for the head job at DePaul. I always forget which one. The one in Chicago. And they're like, we're going to offer you the job. I'm like, what? And so I called and canceled. I mean, they were pissed, as they should be. And so that's it. And so from that day forward, and I don't know many people that can say this, I have my dream job. There is, I told you the story. I've always getting skills for the next job, and this is it. I wake up every day. I cannot wait to work. Look, there's challenges. There's things I don't like. There's bumps. How many people can say there's no other job in America I'd want? Emeril knows there's only one job, and it's my retirement job, and he will tell you what it is. And it's someday when I'm old enough, I'm done. I'm going to retire and become the head of the Cleveland Browns Foundation. And that's it. Because he knows you can retire, dude. Yeah. Because I think it's normally like family or business people that get that bullshit. And you don't raise money, you just give it away in the community. But I get to go to Browns games, and that would be my otherwise, there's no other job. You can offer me anything. I could not be happier. I get to represent Emeril and Alden. I get to be around food and wine. I still play it cool. I'm still a fanboy when I get to meet some of these chefs. I play super cool. I don't get photos. Twice I have, because it was a big, Tom Clicchio hanging out, you know, and we're sitting on the back of a boat, and we're sitting with Rick Moon and Tom Clicchio, Ron Sanchez, Emeril, and we're just smoking a cigar, drinking a glass of wine or water. I'm like, pinch me, you know?
I love it. Well, I can tell you, it was just knowing you for a good bit now, and what you've been able to accomplish, it shows that, you're appreciative of it. You do a great job. But walk me through. So you started in 11. Is that right?
Yeah. So what was it? So it was 11 and a half years ago, whatever that is.
Oh, 11 and a half years ago.
11 and a half years ago.
15-ish.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So 15.
So there's been some pretty significant growth.
Yeah.
Right?
So the foundation, when you started, when you first day.
Yeah. Where were we at?
We come in, and at that point they had a small staff. We have a little small office, and we're really still much a part of the restaurant group. Our accounting was done by them, our HR, our facilities, everything. But they had been 10 years into this now. Their first 10 years were really just kind of getting their feet wet, understanding what it means. And it started as a family foundation, turned into public charity. They hired a woman that was the executive director. She was really good at throwing events, but didn't have nonprofit experience, didn't have fundraising experience. And she created Carnival with Emeril and another woman named Antonia Keller, who was great. But they were events people. They created a great event, and Emeril was on TV all the time, and they were raising, doing really, really well. But they wanted to, it was local. It was one event a year. Almost all the money was staying in New Orleans. They were just giving it away. They weren't running their own programs.
So they started out with just Carnival, right?
Yeah, just Carnival. There was one event before that. It was a tennis match in Mississippi with Pete Sampras and maybe Andre Agassi. Emeril was and still is good friends with Andre. And that was his.
He used to play tennis.
Emeril did?
Yeah, you don't know that?
No. I know Alden did a lot. I didn't know Emeril.
In New York, he played tennis all the time in the morning.
Did he really?
He would go, who did he play with? Anyway,
I didn't know that.
We'll offline.
Oh, I'm going to have to ask him. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I knew
played with somebody early.
Really?
In the morning, and then he'd go have a beer.
It's
like 8 a.m.
Yeah, that all sounds about right.
Something like that.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Yeah, ask him. Yeah, he used to play all the time in the north. And so anyway.
But when I hired, and again, they said, we want to, expand, become nationwide. We want people to know more than just in New Orleans.
Was this the board driving it?
Yeah.
Or your marching orders? Well, that's why they brought you in?
Yeah. They said, we want to create a signature program, something that we're involved with that's lasting, that isn't just a gift and walk away. And that's how we came up with this Culinary Garden Teaching Kitchen program. But there was a whole series of things. So I came in, did a strategic plan. It was one, become nationwide, start giving in more states. Why Emeril, everyone knows Emeril. Why are we not more places?
Yeah.
How do we expand and grow? Build an endowment, create a signature program, and professionalize. So at the time too, the board was a lot of his employees. There was actually a lot of things that were happening that shouldn't be happening. And I'm not saying nothing illegal, nothing unethical, just like that's
You're growing a small business.
Right. Yeah. You should
put your big boy pants on.
Half of your board should not be your employees.
Yeah.
Like you need to have independent officers.
That creates problems, a whole other set of problems.
Which there was. And you just, so I came and cleaned up that stuff too.
Got it.
Along with a couple really good board members that were right lockstep with me and were great. And so we grew and we expanded, and we're 14 states now. We have these signature programs that we run in 7 different schools around the country.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah.
Like the signature program?
Yeah. So we have
people listening.
Yeah. We have 3 programs that we do. One is our community grants. So we'll raise money and we'll give just straight grants to charities, like here in town, right? So ECCAC or Food for Thought programs that again are using food or helping young people become their best selves. Those are grants. We have buildings named all over and all kinds of things. The next is our signature program, our Emeril's Culinary Garden Teaching Kitchen. So we had raised a bunch of money before. We put it aside. And then we spent 2 years looking at what was out there, because Emeril, when we're talking about what kind of program you want, that's your signature, your legacy program. I remember him leaning in. He's like, I want kids, their hands in the dirt, and to know from seed to soil to plate to body and connect to that and learn nutrition, but also food and where food comes from and the power of food and how food can bring people. I'm like, okay. So we went out, and there was this edible schoolyard thing, that Alice Waters out of San Francisco helped build and was starting to spread. but she was just an inspiration. And there were other programs going around, but no one had a lot of garden education, but no one had garden education, kitchen education that was fully entwined with schools during the school day, that also gave money and had the curriculum. So we spent 2 years working with educators, landscape architects, chefs, and we created a scope, sequence, and guide and curriculum that ties to national teaching standards of how do you teach math, science, English, all these other things in the garden and the kitchen. But also you're learning nutrition, where food comes from, how to cook, how to prepare food. Because we know if a kid grows it or cooks it, they'll eat it. So, and we have an obesity and diabetes epidemic happening now, and it's only going to get worse in the country.
Dude,
right?
That's
a
whole other
food. That's a whole other problem.
I was just listening to Rogan yesterday. Who was he talking to? I don't know who he was talking to. Anyway, a comedian, but it doesn't matter. I think the stat was something about it. There's a legal restriction in Japan about something. Their 4 to 6% population is obese. We're 42. It's nuts.
Even if you don't care about people's health, that's a financial crisis too.
Well, that's because,
right.
We had the supposedly not the best healthcare system, but the largest. We spend the most money on it. We're the wealthiest country in the world, and we have the worst health out of everyone.
Right. And so instead of fixing the problem once they're sick, let's make sure the problem doesn't create.
Yeah.
And so that's what y'all are doing. That's what we're doing. And because our program starts with first grade.
So correct me if I'm wrong, the first school you did the garden kitchen was a special needs school, right?
Well, we put in a garden and a kitchen for them, but it wasn't this curriculum.
Okay.
But yeah, it was at St. Michael's. Yeah, we gave them in a garden kitchen too, because especially kids with special needs, they're very adverse to flavors and textures. And so a lot of them have really bad eating habits and really challenged. But what we found with those kids as well is if they grow it and they cook it, they'll eat it too.
Well, so have you heard of Westonwood here?
No.
Westonwood Ranch. So it's pretty neat. Their whole shtick was, there's great education for special needs or support up until high school graduation.
Yeah, that's true too.
And you don't have anywhere to go. So that is predominantly post high school, and they give them skill sets. Yeah. So part of it, they have coffee, they have an entire garden. They do a farm. It's a big ranch.
Oh, we should go.
So, yeah, it's really neat because I have an employee who has a child there, and she's thriving. And they have a skill,
right?
To go, and then they go sell it.
Right.
Like they go to the farmer's market and sell. It's really cool.
It's great. Yeah. And they're adding something. They're getting joy.
And the child's learning adult in some cases,
they're learning
a skill set that they're proud of.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And y'all are starting there. I just thought it was cool.
Yeah, we do
those
that.
Kids that were giving the stuff out.
Yep.
They were proud of it.
Super proud.
Yeah.
They do a pop-up cafe twice a year, and we go in there, and it's like hot dogs and mac and cheese. Yeah. But it's great. But they were so proud. And we'll hear stories of kids, this is at the special need, where they're really struggling in so many other places, and all of a sudden they shine in there because that's their lane. So go back to the curriculum. So we create this program, and it's 700-page scope, sequence, and guide.
Jeez.
And so the idea
you didn't send me that to read.
But what it does is, so again, not only is it helping you connect to the source of your food and nutrition and learning cooking skills, but it's also, again, how do you use math, science, English, third grade English, a lesson on let's go to the garden and hold up vegetables and use adjectives to describe the vegetables. Math, right? Easy. Smoothie making contest, right? Make your ingredients for 2 people, now 4 people, now 8. It's fractions.
Yeah.
So even history, I was sitting in one of our gardens one time, they were growing cotton. And they were going out, the kids sat outside, and they were talking about the Civil War and slavery and the cotton gin and all these things. Meanwhile, picking cotton, holding cotton, and the kids are so much more engaged. So meanwhile, you're connecting to the source of your food and nature and our ecosystem and all. It's beautiful. So we started this program. And so when we find a school, the requirement is the school has to guarantee the kids will be in the kitchen or the garden every week during the school day, and it's part of the curriculum. There is no, this is once a week or for 2 weeks, or the kids grow 1 potato out of a cup.
So what are the grade levels?
It's K through 8.
Okay.
K through 8.
Because they have to be in the garden and the kitchen once a week.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yep. They have to have dedicated gardener kitchen instructors, because what we're trying to create is not just, it's nice. It's, no, this is what we do. This is who we are. And so if you change a kid the way they think about food and interact early on, then I don't have to worry about fixing their health later or reteaching them and trying to get a high school kid off chicken nuggets and instead eat kale, because now a little kid started making kale in the air fryer and turning it into potato chips at 2.
Yeah.
And they like it and they grew it. And they're proud of it, and they go home and show mom. There's this story, which we're going to do a follow-up on soon. So one of our schools is on a military base in Belle Chase. And
where?
What's that?
Where?
Belle Chase. It's on the West Bank.
Okay.
I think you may have bought in to come to this event where Robert Irvine and Emeril are going to cook on the base.
Oh.
At the school.
Okay.
If not, we'll get you there.
I'll be there.
Yeah. It'll be in the auction on Saturday as well.
At Lime Vine and Dine, did y'all have it?
Yeah.
Okay.
You may have bought it there.
Okay.
Yeah, you may have.
Okay.
So anyway, we're going to go to school, but there was a girl there, and we have this on video, and we followed up on it. We just heard the follow-up story too. She was a student. Believe it or not, the food systems on military bases is horrible.
Oh, yeah.
Horrible.
They eat crap.
The garden now at the school in the military base is taking all their extras and putting it in the food pantry, and everyone's taking it. Which is great.
That's cool.
But the cool story is, so this girl, I think she was in middle school. She's learning about gardening and cooking and all that. And she goes back to her house. They live on the base. And the dad tells the family that he has diabetes. He now has diabetes, type 2 diabetes from eating habits and all that.
Yeah.
The daughter's like, well, Dad, let's work on this. The daughter starts teaching elementary school, starts teaching Dad how to cook and how to garden, and they start doing this together. He lowers his A1C or whatever.
Yeah, and you can work your way out of it too, right?
And he's like, but I learned it from my daughter.
Who's how old?
Elementary, or it was a middle schooler.
Okay. 12.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's
so
awesome.
Again, these are the things that we're creating. And so we go in, so school, so they have to go in. We give them $500,000 to help build up their garden or the kitchen. We give them the curriculum. We come in and do 2 days training that they get their official, credits for. We train the teachers how to use this tool, how to think about it. We come back. We're always training. We're always working with them. They get this huge curriculum. We teach them how to do it. We're now starting to give some of them, hydroponics that the kids can take home over the summer and grow their own stuff with online curriculum. So it's a massive investment for us. I mean, it's $500,000 in cash, but it's probably another $200,000 to $300,000 in other things we give them. We give them kitchen equipment, but all of our training, all of our time. So we're in 7 schools, but it's transformative. I mean, it's
a partnership. They're putting time and effort and money in too.
Right. And that's why, believe it or not, it's hard to find schools that are really ready to commit to that, because it has to be committed.
Mm-hmm.
They have to be wanting it and really adhere to it. And
well, what a great story for the military kid.
That's right.
Just simply fixing her dad.
Right.
That's awesome.
And that's just one story. And think about how much that's happening. There's a problem. I went to this one school that we've given them a gift, but they're not a full signature program site, because again, it's a big investment on our side, time and resources. But I went to this other school in Houston. It's one of the oldest historically Black schools right outside downtown Houston. It was so set off for a long time that they had to build their own road to the city. Anyway, super cool school. The teachers there are awesome. Miss Kelly's this garden instructor. Anyway, she told me this story, and think about this, and I've seen this. She takes one of, like a kindergartner or first grader out to their orchard. They had an orchard on campus. And she tells the girl to pull a peach down. Mm-hmm. And the girl's like, that's not a peach. She's like, yeah, it is. She's like, pull it. She's like, ew. And she grabs it, and it's, peach is fuzzy. And she's like, ew, what is this? It's so gross. She's like, it's a peach. She's like, no, it's not. No, it's not. It's the only peach she's ever seen or tasted is the canned in syrup. She doesn't even know what a real peach looks like. So she tells the girl, take a bite. She's like, no, ew, it's gross. She's like, I promise you, trust Miss Kelly, it's a peach. The girl finally trusts her, takes a bite, and tears. It's like the best thing she's ever had.
Yeah.
Our kids
real food.
They don't even know what real food is.
Mm-hmm.
And so we need to start bringing that back. And so that's how we're doing it through that program.
Okay.
And then our third program is an Aaron Sanchez Impact Fund. So Chef Aaron, instead of creating his own foundation, joined our board, created a fund, designated fund under us, but it's part of one of our 3 programs. And he's focused on helping Latino youth reach their goals through food, especially culinary. And so we have a scholarship program. His thing was, why are, so many Latino that I see in the back of the kitchen? Why are they not in the front of the kitchen?
Yeah.
Or running their own kitchens?
Yeah.
And so he wanted to provide opportunity to them. And so we have a scholarship program where they go to the culinary school in New Orleans called No Key, different than No Ka.
They're two different ones?
Yeah. I know. A lot of people get confused.
Okay.
It's a 6-month program, and it's a accelerated program. So you don't have to, nothing against a Johnson & Wales or a CIA, but
2 years.
They're 2 years, and
they learn front of the house stuff too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. They learn, but that's $80,000 to go to those schools.
No,
this
shit.
is it's really
to
go to the other ones.
Yeah.
This program is about $16,000.
Okay.
So what we'll do is we recruit nationwide. We go through all the applications. We take the kids we think that will benefit from it, that will also excel. We take 6, soon to be 8 a year. They go there. They do the program. We pay for their housing. We pay for their airfare. We pay for everything. Then we put them in an internship. We say, what are you interested in? One of them said, I want to learn about culinary and wine and all this. So we called one of our winery friends, Dustin Villette, if you know Dustin, one of the best restaurants in Healdsburg. You've got to go. And one of the coolest guys. He's actually on our national advisory, Villette. And now he has another one called Matheson.
Okay. I haven't been there.
Oh,
my bad.
I think it's
I'll hit it next time.
But anyway, so put her out there. Then they graduate. Then we mentor them. Everything from Aron checks on them. Imagine Aron Sanchez calling you saying, where are you at? How are you doing?
Yeah.
Why aren't you doing this? I mean, one of them wants to open a business in Chicago. She's like, I'm doing catering, but I want to do more of this. We call some of our chef friends and say, help this girl out. So we then stay with them as well. So we have 3 programs. One is really just kind of cash, invest in things. I say just cash and walk. We don't. I mean, we still know what they do. We check.
Yeah, you hold them accountable.
We open doors for them. We give them auction lots. We help promote and all that. I mean, one of the things is, when you give to us, we can help amplify it because of the speaker that we have.
Yeah.
So that's what we do. And about last year, 73,000 kids we've impacted through our programs. And I say we because you too.
Yeah.
Anyone that comes to our events.
It's a team effort.
Right. It takes all of us. It really, really does. And that's, again, the beautiful thing of what we get to do is we get to take things that we work for, have some fun, because we do it around fun. You don't have to, right? University was just writing checks. That's fine too. We have some fun. Yeah. We have a pretty good time.
Fun.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm doing it totally selfishly, but if I'm having a good time doing it,
why not?
It makes me feel a step better.
That's right.
Yeah,
why not?
I enjoy it.
Why not? And we get to do this beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And like you said, I'm going to show you some kids that you help out, but there's kids around this country who are getting hugged instead of hit. There's someone that has a mentor instead of being without a leader. There's someone that's saying, I believe I can, instead of saying I can't. There's a kid tasting something and changing their health today because of what you did yesterday, George, or a week ago, or a month ago, or 2 years ago. And that's true. That's true.
Look, I just come up for the good time and maybe raise a paddle. You guys do all the legwork and y'all do an amazing job. And the events, tongue in cheek, but at the same time, there is something to be said about getting a group of people together around food and wines. I'm on this board and another very successful one in our area that's what we use. And it maybe sounds cliche. I don't know, but it does. When everybody's having a good time and there's energy, you can tell the difference in an energetic auction tent. You know how that works.
Yeah.
I bet you've been in one that sucks.
Yeah,
and everybody's
100%.
like, oh, well, okay. But you got energy around it, things going.
It creates some excitement. Yeah, we're a little looser too.
Yeah, everybody, that red wine helps everybody loosen them checkbooks up a little bit.
Right, it's loose juice.
Stretch it out. Stretch it out.
Juice. Absolutely.
Well, look, you guys are amazing. It's amazing what you did. I'd love to have you back and have a discussion about college tuition.
Yeah, maybe we'll get 2 or 3 people in here.
Yeah, hey, let's do it. Next time you're in town, come by, or maybe we'll, next time I'm over there, we're working on a possible portable setup.
Cool.
Abby's burning a hole in the back of my head now.
Yeah, she's like, really, George?
Maybe do that? Okay. She's got it. Brian, thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Good luck this weekend. I'm looking forward to it. I'll see you tonight, right?
Yeah, we're going to have fun tonight. We'll get it going. Thank you, George.
Thank you, buddy. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.